Hi, welcome to this chess channel, which is primarily chess, of course, but I also bring other things to this channel as well. As I am the administrator, the authenticator, the initiator of this here channel that I started in 2016 in the month of October. So I hope everyone is staying safe, and I please ask, from my point of view, not that it really matters, but please try and listen to what we're being told to adhere to. So here we go. I'm going to get straight into this now with this game that I played last night. 15 minutes, and I consider, as this is a selected chess game of mine that I played on chess.com, I consider this 15 minute game to be a very good one because it shows my sort of particular style and what goes on for me at the chessboard, hopefully. So it is it has got a variation on the theme about what goes on for me in this game. So we are not playing 1e3, which may bore some, but we are playing, Weegenaar is playing on move 1, e4. So here we have e4 and we have c5, a very good answer to white's, or the first player's move. E4 is c5. It's the most popular in chess to date, is against e4, the Sicilian defense. So here, not wanting to, although I can go into the main lines, I like to play this because this is my style. I play b4, and this is a 15-minute game against a very strong player, a bit above my rating for 15 minutes and 10 seconds on chess.com. So my opponent, true to form, takes the pawn and then takes my next pawn, which is of course called the wing gambit. So it's not something I've made up, it's called the wing gambit, and I quite like the positions that I get from it, even though I end up a whole pawn down. So I am actually very careful for my pieces because I don't want to swap them off, because if I swap my pieces off in this game, then I'm going to lose the endgame, and the endgame is going to be no good for white if white enters it a pawn down. It's probably, maybe a good player can draw it still, but it's going to be very difficult to try and win it. So I have to throw everything I've got and the kitchen sink at my opponent, which is, of course, I'm still saying to my opponent, I hope you have a good game. So here's d4 and d5. Now I know that the way that black's played on move 3 is not the best move in the world. In fact, I believe knight c6 on move 3 for black after cb4 and then knight c6 is a very good move, and queen b6 or something. So here we've got e5, which is a typical move for me to play here. I quite like playing behind this shell of dark squared pawns on c3, d4, e5, and maybe some others. So here's bishop f5, and like I said just prior, I do not want to just maybe forego one or so of my pieces without a very good reason to. So I'm not going to play here c3, because if I play c3, it offers black the opportunity of taking my knight with their bad white squared bishop. So I do not want to do that. So I play knight a3, so I can still play c3, you see. You see, c3 here is the way I'm thinking about it. So c3, and now my opponent cannot take the knight on a3 because it's not on b1 anymore. e6 Now maybe black will play bishop takes a3 here, which I don't mind too much, because then I've got this bishop on this long diagonal, which is quite meaty places for it to sit maybe in the middle game. But we are still in the opening, and we have to both remember that. But do I remember that properly? Maybe not. So here's h4, because now I'm threatening what? I'm threatening something here. I am threatening g4, and then the bishop is going to find difficulty after bishop e4, because this is the way I would play chess when I was a young boy. When I was a young junior, I used to play particularly this kind of way against the Kaha advanced Kaha defense, which everyone should know what the Kaha is. So I would play moves like g4 and all that sort of stuff. So I'm threatening g4 and f3 and h5 to win the bishop on, to win black's white squared bishop. So black has to be very careful to make sure that they don't allow this to happen. So they do not play what I would expect here, h6 or h5. h6 or h5. One may be better than the other, where you can let your bishop drop to h7 to g8, to h7 to g8 even. You can let that happen for black. But my opponent plays f6, so this invites my pawns to advance. So in another game, I only move 2 and then 3 pawns in that game that I placed the other day. But here, however, I move all my 8 pawns because I go g4. So all my 8 pawns are going to get moved here, and bishop e4, I play f3, of course. Bishop g6 and h5, just a natural sort of looking move to me at least. Maybe it doesn't look very good. Maybe it looks very, very eerie to everyone else on the planet. But for me, I quite like this sort of setup, even though it does feel a little bit sort of eerie around my king. I have to be careful. So after bishop f7, I play f4. So I've played, out of all my moves, I have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or so moves with pawns, and 1 knight out. A knight out. We all would like to have a knight out, wouldn't we? So here's fe5 and fe5. I could play the other way, but I prefer, as previously mentioned, these pawns to be all locked up in the centre, which I've also been told by a New Zealand chess master that, Dave, you're quite good at open positions, but I'm opening the position up, but I'm still having these pawns locked up in the centre. So bishop e7, and here comes knight f3 to prevent black from, this is what I'm thinking, from playing bishop h4 check, annoying my king. I don't want my king to move as of yet, but maybe I will later on in this game. So I still have to be sensible, because I mean, like, you know, I've been very, very naughty here, haven't I? So here's knight h6. Now what do I play against that? Of course, you guessed it, I hit the horse with, of course, a pawn. I play g5. Now this promotes the knight to either go somewhere. Now there are 3 places available to the knight. There's this, this, and this. And now I'll give you a clue. It's very easy to find black's move, which is of course not knight here, because I might think about playing bishop to h3, and maybe I might be able to pocket that knight. Not really, because then I would have bishop takes h5 sort of thing. So But I was actually, I believe, earlier on, I was thinking of playing G6, HG6, HG6, rook takes rook, pawn takes bishop, threatening the knight on G8 with queening it. So king takes, queen F3, and queen takes H1. I had considered that earlier on, if you want to have a look at that. So here we go, we've got G5. So the knight hopped in, or leaped into knight F5, which is one of the names I was given a long time ago was Leaping Dave. Leaping Dave. So that's why it's called a long time ago. Now I play rook H3, do I? No, I don't. I can't even remember what I play. I play bishop D3. Oh, no, I don't. Huh. Did I play knight C2? Yes. I played knight C2 here. And now my opponent went knight G3, but of course I went rook G3 and offers the opportunity to black to take this white square bishop or take the pawn, and black took the pawn. Is it bait? I'm not sure. So I played here bishop D3. Now I haven't got any sort of game plan here other than I'm of course attacking black, but I have got no sort of firm structural kind of disciplines about what and where and how I'm going to attack black. But black has to think about, one, where do I put my king? I mean, my king is sitting itself on open F file, so I could leave it there, and maybe I do, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to castle unless I want to castle manually as it's placed, a manual or whatever it's called. So I've got this sort of shield around me, but I've also got to worry about black's, pardon me, my black's probable idea of just marching this pawn eventually. And if it gets to A3 and it's got pawns behind it or a pawn behind it, it's going to be quite hard to deal with. Or maybe black will just play A6 and B5 and knight A5, but at the end of the day they still have to maybe consider their king and where their king is. And now, as you would appreciate, white has given up some pawns, but also has some open files, or half open files as it's called, or as it's termed in chess. There are ideas of floating my knight here and here, but I have to be careful of this G5 pawn. Okay, so because this is a 15-minute game, I want to give it that sort of aroma about it. I want to be able to say, and I found out this morning that so I want to give it that sort of aroma. I want to give it that, it's a 15-minute game, so I want to give it that sort of justice. And I found out this morning, just now, that with the COVID-19 virus, if I may mention it, one way to tell if you've got it is your sense of smell will die. You won't have a sense of smell, but I never have a sense of smell anyway. I don't have many senses. So here we go. I'm going to continue with G6. Now, this might be a good move or it might be a bad move. Now, if I can throw a knight on there directly, then it might be a good move or a bad move for black. G6. I'm not sure, because the resulting position would be locked down. Okay, and I don't want to talk about lockdown too much, but it would be like lockdown. So here we have my move. Now, what did I play? I think I played rook b1. Yes, I did. I played rook b1, just a wee sort of nibble at black's b7 pawn, and my opponent played a sensible positional move, rook b8. Could play b6, but that would invite maybe bishop b5. But I'm not saying that's what I would play here, but I'm saying that it may come about, and then maybe bishop a3 and knight a3 captures, and then maybe queen a4, etc. But black's got moves, of course. And sorry, thank you very much for the word from my sponsor, the great wizard, the great whistle. So here's rook b8, as promised. So what did I play? It's either queen e2 or bishop e3, because I have to think about getting something happening here. So I played queen d2. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of going to queen to f4, but no, that's not what I'm thinking. I thought to myself, hang on, this is what I'm going to do. So here's castling. Now, I believe now that black sort of done exactly what I want them to do. Is now I swing the queen over to h2, and because I've now got this possibility, I'm not saying probability, I'm just saying possibility of capturing this knight on h5, and of course if knight here, then I can just take it, but if knight here, then it's not far away from checkmate, everyone can appreciate, especially with the rook arrow helping. It doesn't even consider for black knight h5, the computer. So with queen h2, this is showing some intent. So here comes a6, and now I play either bishop e3 or bishop d2, and I'm just, yeah, that's right, I played bishop d2 because this is protecting the c3 pawn. c2, c3, c3 po, c2, 3 po, and here we go, here's b5. Now what do I do now? I play king e2, because I'm doing something here. I'm thinking, well, if I don't watch it, these pawns are going to, just like knights and queens and everything, are all going to come launching down the first player's queen's side. And those pawns don't look very nice for me. So here's king e2, and what does my opponent do? Queen b6, as I mentioned. So what do I do now? What would you do now? And I've got an eye on the clock, because I've got that chess clock going, which I've got my chess clock here. So it's up to 11:45 left till it's 30 minutes long, this video, which incidentally, as mentioned previously on a number of occasions, that is my data that I use for my phone, which I only get 3.5 gig per month from my my cellular company, which happens to be, for some reason or another, skinny. So here I play, thank you very much for finding it, and I'm not saying it's the right move, but I play rook h5, and that promotes the idea from black of gh5, and now I just keep on going, keep on keeping on, g6, and here's bishop g6, bishop g6, hg6, and then what? I play rook g1, and this is of course just threatening rook g6, or it's also threatening queen h5. So I'm thinking that the best defense for black would probably be king here. I think, oh, ask the engine. Oh, king f7, and guess what? That is exactly what my opponent played, is king f7, both the same moves. So was my opponent cheating? I think not, I don't know. And what do I play? I play queen f4. Now there are actual lines here that I think are good for black, that I think black should play. But here's king e8, and I play queen h6. And here is king d7. I think this is very good defense, but I don't think the follow-up is. Here's rook g6, and the move I was thinking that I would be most worried about from black is rook h8. So I'm going to turn the machine back on and ask b4. Okay, well, I could fear that one as well, because that's just pretty bad, isn't it? So the computer's not worried for black's king, and they're more concentrating on my king. But I was thinking that this was going to be the move for black. However, back to the drawing board, if I may call it such. So here is my opponent's move, knight d8, defending their pinnacle position. So I play rook g7, and I'm thinking, oh, I might have some chances still to get out of this situation I've placed myself in, maybe, because I just think that the position is very unclear. So this is knight f7. This move helps me greatly, I think, because I just take the pawn on h5, and now I would consider, I will turn the engine kibitzer on real quickly just to see what that says. Crafty says that black is winning. Okay, black is winning. Decisive advantage for black. So now I'm playing with a lost position. King e8. I wonder what it says now. I play bishop g5, and here comes the mistake I think for black. I think that black should play bishop g5 and knight g5 and maybe rook here rather than what black played. But that's my opinion. I may be wrong. Maybe the computer disagrees, but I won't ask. So I play bishop g5, and my opponent plays b4 finally. Should have played it before, but didn't. Played it now. Now I play bishop e7, and I'm quite happy actually. And queen b5, and I have to find a place to put my king. So I put it on a daring square. Where would you put it? d2, d1, e1, f2, e3, or pawn c4. I play king e3, and now the king takes the bishop, and I can now throw the knight into g5. Now I betcha white is now considered to be in a 1 position. It's still winning for, it's just gone to slight advantage or that of that for black. I can't believe it. So my opponent is not playing very well here. So after this move, black went queen e8. And here I go. Knight b4, and this is with a weak combination in mind of rook f7, rook f7, queen f7, queen f7, knight c6 check. Knight c6 check, and queen takes queen and knight takes rook. So you can have a look at that yourself. That's sort of like what I'm glad I didn't know that I was losing this, according to the computer. I bet you it's changing, especially after knight b4, or especially after my opponent's next move, which is rook takes b4, so I'll carry on a little bit. C b4, now I'm absolutely sure that white's got a clear 1 position here. Unless it, yes, yay! We have liftoff. 7:58 in white's favour. And now, of course, it is 1 because we have 3 attacking and blacks to move. See? So this is now why the computer's saying that it's a totally one game for white, is what does white do? What does black do, I mean? What does black do here in this position? What can black do? Not much. Not really much. There's so many combinations in this position, it's not funny, but black is strangled. Black is in what I call Zugzwang. And that's not the way to say it in German, but that's the way I say it. Black is in Zugzwang. And here, there's nothing. That's the whole horrible thing about chess. So it's only a couple of seconds away from loss here for black, where we have resignation from black's hand. Okay? Very strong player with obvious big chances the whole time. So the only move I think we could ask one more time, switch off the engine. What does the engine suggest? Maybe rook h8. Oh, rook g8. Okay. That's not going to be very good. So here we go. I'm going to finish this session off with black's move king d7. So as you can appreciate, the whole nice and horrible thing about chess at the same time, whether you're the aggressor or the asserter or the defender, if you're the defender, this is not very nice. If you're the attacker, it's nice, because black has, according to the rules of chess, the compulsion to move. They must move. They cannot, like other games, miss a turn, even though that might be a disadvantage to miss a turn. They cannot say, I'd like to just miss a turn and you have your turn, like they can in other games. So in chess, when it's your move, the compulsion is the absolute non-changeable, unchangeable rule of chess is that you must move. So king d7 happened, and then it was just rook f7, rook f7, queen f7, queen f7, and this is where my opponent resigned as well. As you would appreciate, knight f7, and if the king goes now to c6, then the knight sits nicely on d6.